The maritime world is a nexus involving ships, seafarers, the marine environment, national and regional cooperation, because nations border the seas, whether it's the Atlantic or the Pacific. The maritime world involves the use of technology. It involves ports, issues of security, talk about piracy, safety, industry regulations, players, and of course the business aspect of it. So when you talk about maritime, you are looking at a humongous, massive, entire expanse of economic and human possibilities. That is something for you to think about, because Nigeria is a maritime nation. Hello and welcome to yet another educative and enlightening episode of your favorite nautical television program, Nimasa This Week, the voice of maritime, and it is brought to you by the Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency, the nation's apex regulator and promoter of all things maritime and the blue economy. My name is Ubong Isian, and it's always a pleasure to be your guide on this voyage.
You are watching Nimasa This Week.
You're watching Nimasa This Week.
Are watching Nimasa This Week.
You are watching Nimasa This Week.
The voice of maritime.
Voice of Maritime.
Voice of Maritime.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
Nimasa This Week, the voice of maritime, showing on these stations.
Welcome back. It's still Nimasa This Week, the voice of maritime, and on today's episode, straight up is the DG's Diary with Dr. Bashir Jamal. We have the concluding installment on the general discussions surrounding what IMO conventions represent. And debuting on Inside Shipping today is our new staff, Onyeka Okafor, who takes us into the important function of Nimasa, known as Port State Control, plus our other regulars. So if you're ready, let's anchor away.
Introducing the Nimasa Distress Response Call Lines for all maritime stakeholders, ship owners, seafarers, ship captains. Whatever your challenge or distress in the Nigerian maritime domain, please call 0803 0685 167, 0708 0005 956, 0700 0700 010. If you can't reach us on these lines, please call 0700 0700 020, 0700 0700 030. Also via VHF Radio Channel 16. Call and Nimasa will respond.
In a bid to ensure interagency cooperation between the Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency, Nimasa, and the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, the Secretary of the Commission, Dr. George Ekpungu, has said the concern of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission is that of security and the preservation of federal government assets. The Secretary, who made this known during a courtesy visit to the Director General of Nimasa at the agency's Apapa headquarters in Lagos, has this to say.
The issues that we have discussed are not, they are issues of security, but they are also issues of preservation and then management of federal government assets and marine resources as it relates to us.
Meanwhile, the Director General of the Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency, Dr. Bashiru Jamo, said the highlight of the interagency meeting is to discuss the future of some of the assets, which now belongs to the federal government.
As the Secretary mentioned, one of the major items on the agenda for us to discuss has to do with the future of some of the assets which is now belongs to federal government, especially or particularly the ships that is under the custody of EFCC. So we have discussed intensively on the issue of those perpetual assets, and we are looking at ways and means that we can dispose those assets quickly so that we can preserve the assets and the value of the asset remain the way it is, and then for the benefit of the country, not only in terms of the sale or auction of the asset, but also the economic value. You see, when they auction the ships, we are now building fleet. The fleet expansion that we want to do, it will go a long way in improving our own cabotage trade, because Nigeria will get additional ship, and then at the same time it will have the ability to generate employment, because those ships, when put into use, certainly Nigerians will get employment. So only God knows the benefits that is coming in. So because we work hand in hand, and in terms of maintaining and securing those ships, they are here to discuss those issues as a committee in EFCC, and that as a committee responsible in looking into those assets forfeited with regards to the marine assets.
According to him, Nigerians are aware that the Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency always preach on the issues of collaboration for operations, coordination and communications among the agencies, as we constantly find the EFCC investigating issues that concerns ships.
Nigerians, they are aware. We always preach the issues of collaboration, cooperations, coordination and communications among the agencies. And as I said earlier, you see, time without number, the EFCC will find themselves investigating issues that concerns ships. I think among the industry, the issue of shipping and ship itself is one of the areas that we are experiencing a lot of problems. So from time to time, EFCC do write to us, communicate to us what they discover in terms of ownership or mortgage of a vessel. They want our registry to confirm the status of that vessels. And from time to time, we have been giving them. This is one of the cooperations and communications that we have been having with the EFCC. So it's not surprising for them to be here. And we will continue to do that. We will continue to collaborate. I will continue to coordinate in such areas. So when it comes to this issue of maritime matters, no agency can operate alone. People will be surprised to see EFCC. Ordinarily, in those days when they don't understand EFCC, when they hear EFCC visit agency, they think that EFCC, they are there now to arrest people. No. EFCC do move. You can see now they are moving now for the purpose of collaboration, not for the purpose of arrest. But that does not stop if they discover something that will warrant the arrest for them to come for the arrest. But the essence of the existence of EFCC is not only to arrest, but it's also to enhance the economy. Because if you look at the acronym of the EFCC, economic and financial, you understand, economic and financial. So they look at something that can tarnish the economy or can endanger the economy or can improve the economy. If they see something that can improve the economy, they will have to pop in. Now they are working towards seeing that what can improve the economy in terms of shipping, in terms of for future of those assets, and in terms of disposing of those assets, and then move our own economy forward.
Okay, now that we have these conventions, or these conventions being part of our laws, how does Nimasa as a regulatory agency implement these conventions when they become part of our laws?
The first thing that we have to do as an agency is to make sure we carry everybody along. We can't just, we are going to domesticate a convention and just go ahead with it. So we have to make sure our stakeholders are actively involved. They are aware of what's going on. They are aware of the expectations that we have, and they can actually fulfill these obligations. At some point, if we feel that, these obligations or the requirements are too high for our seafarers or even our ship owners to actually comply with, we can apply for special dispensation, as we have done in the past, to extend the time period for us to comply.
Okay, so you give a timeline for them to get themselves in order to be able to comply.
So we actually achieve that by primary legislation, which is the Merchant Shipping Act. It does lay out the foundations of the conventions that, yes, the maritime conventions. We can do that through regulations as well and guidelines, which we provide. So we also provide stakeholders forums to engage actively, so that once the conventions do come into force and the laws are actually in Nigerian laws, we can actually move with minimum of interference with the activities of our...
That takes care of, you can't say you're ignorant because you've been carried along the process.
Yes, we have to do newspaper adverts, radio adverts,
meetings,
exactly.
I guess.
You need to consult with the associations, the Ship Owners Association, the Seafarers Associations. Everybody must be carried along because the government cannot be working in isolation of this issue.
Shipping community.
Yes.
Well, thank you, Ms. Adike. Sir, can we speak to the practical effects of implementation by Nimasa? I mean, for example, as a ship owner, I buy my ship today. What do I do? How do I comply with these laws and conventions that have become part of Nigerian laws?
I would like to illustrate by talking about an imaginary person called Mr. X.
Okay.
So Mr. X buys a ship. He buys it abroad where ships are built and brings it to Nigeria.
What if the ship is built in Nigeria or the
well,
vessel?
I decided to start with that process because 75% of the time, 80% of the time, this is what happens. Vessels are brought from abroad and brought into Nigeria. So he buys the ship abroad. He needs to hire a crew who are properly certified, who are experts in managing that kind of vessel to sail it to Nigeria.
Okay.
When it gets to Nigeria, since the vessel is going to work in Nigeria, he must ensure that the vessel complies with the requirements for trading of ships in Nigeria. Number one of this is he needs to register the vessel under the Nigerian flag. Once this vessel has the Nigerian flag, the next step is the shipowner must obtain trading certificates for the vessel. There are a set of certificates that a vessel must have before it can trade anywhere in the world. The most important of this, of course, is the Classification Society certification. This Classification Society certification is basically the endorsement of an international recognized body saying that we have seen this ship and we guarantee that this ship can trade anywhere in the world. So it needs this certification. There are other certificates like the load line certificate.
Okay, so the process you're explaining to us now,
yes.
Are they part of requirements of these international maritime conventions?
Definitely.
Okay.
Each of these processes.
So these certificates all emanate from this international maritime conventions.
Yes.
Great.
there's a network of international maritime conventions that deals with the most minutest details of the life cycle of a ship. So you have the class certificate, you have the certificates for each of the crew. The ship owner must ensure that every seafarer on his vessel is carrying a valid certificate, because there are a lot of people, nefarious activities by people who go around using fake certificates. So we must ensure that all the seafarers have proper certificates. After this is done, then he would now determine what aspect of maritime he wants to trade in. If it is oil and gas, then he has to go and meet the oil and gas regulators and also ensure that his vessel meets all their expectations. Then he can sit down and begin to recoup the proceeds of his investment in the vessel.
Okay, so that basically explains, as a ship owner, the steps you need to take. Mr. Adeke, Mr. Peter has just explained to us for vessels bought outside the country. Does the same process apply to vessels built in Nigeria?
The same process
for them to comply with this conventions.
The same process does apply, but I think for the first, the vessel bought abroad, you need a temporary license first to bring in the vessel. So once you bring in the vessel, so that's the only difference.
The temporary license speaks to you that the vessel must be seaworthy to actually come in. So how do you get this temporary license?
It's gotten from the shipyard. So from the shipyard, so the country in which it's built, they will have specifications. So what we do is provide a license. As we said, no vessel can sail without a flag. So if the vessel is coming to Nigeria, if it's coming from Singapore, for instance, it can't sail between the authorities. They will stop. You will need to fuel. They will ask you, where's your flag? And you can't be a flagless vessel. So the priority is to provide them temporary registration so that they can bring the vessel to Nigeria. That's the whole point of the temporary registration. So once they come to Nigeria, they comply with all the procedures that Mr. Peter Agbamiloja mentioned. So every aspect of global shipping is governed by international maritime conventions, and everything is put into regulations, into domesticated, into local law, and that is what Nimasa enforces.
Okay, so Mr. Peter, thank you very much for coming to this segment. Thank you for having this conversation with us. Thank you also, Mrs. Adeke. It was good to have you on this segment. Well, viewers, that's as much as we can take on international maritime conventions. We hope we've been able to establish a very good background to what international maritime conventions are, and going forward in all our other episodes, we'll start speaking to specific international maritime conventions and how they are enforced in Nigeria. Until next time, please stay tuned for Nimasa This Week, the voice of maritime.
Hello viewers, you're welcome to Inside Shipping on Nimasa This Week, and my name is Oyeka Mary Okafor, and on this voyage we will be with Mr. Akpan today, and he will be telling us everything we need to know about this vessel here today. Mr. Akpan, please.
Okay, the vessel is a fish carrier bringing fish from South Korea and is discharging in Nigeria port.
Alright, so we would like to know everything that will be inspected on the ship today.
Actually, we are going to do post-state control inspection here. It's going to depend on the condition we meet the vessel. From the hull, if the vessel is too bad, then we will proceed to more detailed inspection. But actually, maybe we are going to do initial inspection. On the initial inspection is general check of the vessel. We go through the hull, the deck, the bridge, engine room, the accommodation. So, but if the condition is not okay, we will step up the inspection to more detailed inspection.
So So dear viewers, let's go on board.
The Port State Control Unit of the Marine Safety and Seafarer Standard of Nimasa carried out Port State Control inspection on the Heavy Dara vessel, a South Korean flag at Dangote Terminal Apapa, Lagos. According to the Port State Control Officer, Mr. Basiakman, the Port State Control inspection will depend on the condition of the vessel. As they climb the gangway, they submit themselves to the gangway watch for a proper identification before they were allowed access to the ship.
Okay, this is a ship certificate. One of us is going to do the documentation. Then the two of us will go around the ship. We go to engine room. Okay. After engine room, we go to bridge. You see, these are the winches. The anchor winch, the anchor chain, it has two anchors. Well painted, it's okay. All of them are okay. We are here to check around your engine room.
Yeah.
So I hope everything is working fine.
Yeah, everything goes.
And the engine room is clean.
Yeah.
Okay, we are going to look at it.
Yeah.
We are doing emergency steering test. This is the steering of the ship. So in case of steering failure on the bridge, they have to use the emergency to maneuver. We are on the navigational bridge. So this is a chart room. This is the chart table.
All right, Mr. Akpan, after the inspection of this vessel, are you satisfied with it?
Yes, I'm satisfied with the inspection of the vessel. The vessel is very clean. Everything is working. All the safety equipment tested are all working. I'm really satisfied.
Our world-class Maritime Experience Center is now live, announcing Maritime Stakeholders Experience Contact Center, MSECC, where you'll get simple, fast, and tailored solutions to all your maritime challenges on maritime safety, maritime labor, marine pollution, search and rescue, cabotage issues, ship registration, training and certification, and any other maritime-related issues. Contact us via the polling channels 23401 630 9590. Email us at contactcenter@nimasa.gov.ng. info@nimasa.gov.ng. Chat with us www.nimasa.gov.ng and on Facebook at Nimasa Official. Let's resolve all your maritime related issues.
Welcome back. It's still Nimasa This Week, the voice of maritime. We go straight into the DG's weekly column in the Guardian newspapers, the Maritime Mandate. This week is the first in the series titled A Step Forward for Blue Economy. If you have any questions about the blue economy, you can ask the DG on Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram. You can also follow us at Nimasa Official. However, when it comes to doing business, remember that because maritime is a nexus of functionalities and activities, regulation is an imperative, and Nimasa bears responsibility for providing leadership when it comes to regulation and promotion of the Nigerian maritime space. So where do you go to for relevant and up-to-date information to keep you on the straight and narrow? Well, it's the Nimasa Official website as shown on your screen. And as we always say, make the website your first port of call. Thank you for watching today's episode of Nimasa This Week, the voice of maritime. Remember that the lighthouse is an important feature in the maritime world, and it has two functions: to aid navigation so that ships do not miss their direction, and to provide warning so that ships avoid danger and destruction. Indeed, we can all borrow a leaf from the world of shipping to be a lighthouse in the lives of other people today. My name remains Ubong Isien, asking you to be a lighthouse and to stay on course till I see you next time. Bye-bye.